My iPad and my phone is at 6:30.
Okay.
You should put those away now anyway.
Put your toys away.
I had to close something up. So. All set?
Mm-hmm.
All right, time being 6:30, I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, August 13th, 2013 Tilton Planning Board meeting. First on the agenda, conceptual discussion for a subdivision at
246.
246 Tail of Hill Road, R02/3-5.
Where would you like this set up for best viewing for you guys? Over there, or?
That's fine.
That's
Well,
fine,
look
okay.
closer.
A little closer, I guess. 'cause
Okay.
we'll better vision than others.
Sorry.
Sorry, Nappy. I didn't hit you. And now you quit.
8 hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna separate you two.
Like a rat.
That's okay. I'm not going here.
So good evening, my name is Kevin Leonard from North Point Engineering. We're a civil engineering firm in Pembroke. I'm here with Steve Dembitsky, who owns this 21-acre parcel right here. Just wanted to grab this map right here. Tail of Hill Road, probably familiar with that. And Range Road takes off there, and Tail of Hill comes up here, Samberton's up here. There was a frontage lot subdivision done on that property. This is an excerpt of that subdivision that created 5 lots, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one's actually just off the page here. This direction is north, so the Samberton town line is up this way. So Steve and his neighbor Scott, he owns lot 4, it's a 7.1 acre property. So it's roughly 28 acres between the two properties. And they're currently developed each with a single family home. I have a picture of the aerial just so you can kind of see what that looks like. So they have a common driveway that comes up between the two lots. Steve's house is right here and his neighbor's house is right there. So they're sort of developed close to the current frontage on Tail of Hill Road. And what they're talking about doing is putting a cul-de-sac between the two lots. That would look something like this. The wetlands that are shown on this plan are based on the 2003 plan, so they'd have to be redelineated, obviously, if we were to move forward with the project, but it gives you a sense of what the wetlands were historically. And ultimately, there'd be a lot line adjustment to accommodate the new roadway alignment, basically shrink the size of Scott's existing house, Steve's existing house, and then create 3, or at least 3 new lots off the cul-de-sac, each having access from this public street. This cul-de-sac is roughly 860 feet to the center of the island. 3-acre zoning in the R8 zoning district, 6-acre zoning for backlots. These 2 lots back here would be backlots. We've sort of depicted the 125 setback to wetlands, which is the local setback you guys have for septic systems. So just to get a sense of the area that there's ability to put septic systems back here, and again here on this lot here. So generally, we just wanted to share this with you, see what you think about it. I've got a couple questions, or we have a couple questions for the board, and certainly are interested in anything you have to say or any questions you might have. I don't know if you have any questions at the moment, or
You said it was 800, is that the size of the circle, or is it?
860 feet
Oh.
from Tail of Hill Road
Okay.
to here.
Okay, sorry.
I do realize that there's any cul-de-sac longer than 600 feet requires a waiver from the planning board, or that's what I've read in the regulations. It seems like you will allow for cul-de-sacs certainly up to 860 feet. I didn't know if you thought you had a concern with the length of this cul-de-sac. I mean, or what exactly what the waiver process is, I guess, typically.
Well, it would be discussed, if and when you brought it in. I mean, there's going to be issues, primarily anything like this, we would send you over to the fire department to
Sure.
make sure that all equipment that they would have that you might need to get on the site would be able to traverse the site.
Yep.
So, you know, and whether or not we would wait and see what the fire department had to say about what it is you're planning to put in there. I'm assuming if that's going to be a public road, you're going to be building it to public standards.
That would be the goal, yeah. Yep. But that makes sense, I mean, the intent would be, you know, for plow trucks and the fire trucks, and we build the
Trash down there.
trash and all that, you know, to be able to get in and out of there. And the town has standards for what that cul-de-sac needs, the dimensions that needs to be.
Right.
And it's drawn in at that scale.
How's that back top lot, I guess, access the street?
This one,
Yeah.
there'd be an easement through, so there's sort of minimize wetland crossings here. There'd be an easement that ran through here, allowing for a common driveway. So, because the developable area will be back here for these two lots. So we'd come through here with a driveway, and then it would just kind of split off when we got back there.
Basically about here, this would be a small turnaround, but it wouldn't be for the town, you know what I mean? For two people, I mean, if a fire truck ever had to get in there, there would be plenty of room to turn the fire truck around in that area. Right now, it's a pretty good dirt road there. That's all.
Is there an elevation change back there?
Very slight, very slight. The first elevation changes in the knoll, actually, as you go off of the
I'm just thinking
cul-de-sac.
steep slopes. So,
Right.
yeah.
You kind of see there's a thread that kind of comes through there. It's like a
It's a logging.
a logging road, so there's sort of trying to follow that alignment to, it's where the wetland's been impacted already, and so it kind of makes sense to follow that alignment. You can kind of get a sense of the grades. Generally, on the topo from the original subdivision, generally the lot slopes from east to west, and is draining kind of in this direction towards Caleb Hill Road. Just to give you a general idea.
What is this, the elevation difference in the back of the lot
Up to the front.
yeah.
Well, like, for instance, that's the 600 contour, and we're down in the 510 or so, so there's 90 feet of grade from top to bottom. It's a pretty deep lot, so that's not,
This is like, kind of like where this imposed second two driveways would come in. And this is about where, I'd say, secondary turnaround would be for a fire truck if it ever had to come into the two homes up in the back. There is enough room there. It's not a very steep grade. The only steep grade would be somewhere and right in here, and I'd be actually willing to build that up
What
with
about-
permission.
What about down closer to the front of it?
where we're looking right here.
Everything's good, it's pretty flat, has very little
The houses are
elevation.
built right here today,
Yeah.
and then this slope is sort of a side slope up to the adjacent property, but the new road will be coming in through here.
Well, I'm looking at the nearest, grade lines on the.
These
right-
ones?
Right where right where your finger is. And it looks to me like we got some pretty steep stuff in there.
It is steep in through there, but this is already developed here, and we'd probably be developing over on this side of this slope, because that's kind of the natural, kind of where the development want to happen, given the lay of the land type of
Yeah,
thing.
basically,
I
there's
just
enough
wanted
room,
to verify that what I was seeing.
there's
was-
enough room in there, it does go up, there's a rock,
In the back.
like a ledge, there's a house up on, actually on top of the
You
ledge.
can see actually, there's a house right there on the neighbor's
Yeah.
property.
Yeah, that one's pretty high up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like
All you can
6'10",
see
I
is the
think,
light.
I believe. You can only see the house during the winter,
Yeah.
you know,
Of course, from here, I don't know whether it's this way or this way.
it's that way. But no, it's a very nice developable piece of property. I have plans of building a home out back if I can sometime. The rest of it, I'd like to keep in non-current or current use for a while, and basically, maybe sometime later on. The rule is no more than 2 houses on an unimproved road, so that leads
That's
me
why
to drag the road, and whether it's a gravel road or a paved road, I'm not sure what the town actually wants.
All of our regulations require it in our subdivision.
Require, I missed
On
those.
road.
Pavement?
They're gravel.
Yes.
It would be paved.
Town graded roads,
Okay.
Class 5 town, what the town will accept as a town road.
And
Okay.
what would that be?
Hmm?
Gravel?
Class
I
5 is
know.
gravel.
They're paved.
They're paved.
Mhm.
The other thing I saw in the regulations is that it appears there's an impact fee for new lots, or if I gathered that right. And I didn't know what the impact fee was. I was just trying to, at this point, figure out if this is financially feasible, and so is that something that is readily available, or where would we get that information from?
Well, the impact fees are, we are still working on that.
Well, Caleb Hill is a state road.
We
So you
haven't,
have to get
Correct.
DOT
haven't got them
approval.
worked
There's
out.
3 tons on Caleb Hill,
Somebody
Yeah.
can say what they're gonna be.
Oh, okay.
subdivision,
Okay.
cut A,
But they're
which is the
Yeah.
2 houses
We
that are
have
presently there.
3
all the
conversations.
It's cut B,
considerations
which is
affect-
Oh, we got 3 conversations going.
Driveway, and there's cut C,
Taken into
which is the other 2 driveways with preferably a back lot is what you would call it.
Have you talked to DOT yet?
No, I have not.
I would suggest that would be an early conversation,
Okay,
because it's their road.
okay.
you
There's already been an established cut towards.
know. Right, oh, I know there has, but you would still have to run it by them,
Okay,
to just make sure they're not going to require anything
okay,
extra from you.
That's good advice.
excellent.
Just so that, there was, like you said, there was a couple of conversations going on there. So today, if a new lot were created, the impact fees haven't been assessed to a new lot yet? Is that in there, is that true, what I just heard, or?
Yeah, well, it'd be kind of, I'm probably speaking a little bit out of turn here, because I'm not right into the middle of it.
Okay,
But the impact fees will be based on the effect that the new property has on everything around it.
okay. And so the town hasn't done a study to determine what a new lot, what the impact of a new lot has on all the town services. It does it on a project-by-project basis, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say yes.
Is there an example of a subdivision in recent, has ever?
We haven't had a subdivision since the impact fees were adopted.
I understand, okay. So that's sort of an open-ended,
Breaking new ground.
Hmm?
Breaking new ground.
Yes.
okay. How does the town go about establishing that? Their consultant, or?
Well, we have our regulations, and we have what we've done the regulations for.
Yep.
It's a case now that we'll have to sit down and just look and see what we feel. I mean, right now, we're doing highway and police. We don't do fire because fire is its own district.
Okay.
And they, although it is part of our town, they don't own property in our town, so they're not part of the impact fees.
Okay,
So that's what we're gonna have to look at. And as far as what the impact fee would be, until we sit down and really talk about what, if anything, this is going to have, what the fee percentage for those 2 would be on this particular project, I can't answer that.
okay, but the planning board would hammer that out, it sounds like,
Yes.
eventually.
We would talk about it and,
Yeah,
you know, as per what the regulations are saying and what our mitigation is, and
okay.
find out what it is.
The other thing I saw is that you require conditional use permits for wetland crossings. So we'd have potentially, there's some crossings that are
There's 2
today.
cul-de-sacs that are already in place, that have been in place for a
Right.
while, they use those to log with.
Yeah.
Um,
But it would require you to go to the state and get wetland crossings. I know one other one was required, I believe, on your road there that goes up. Somewhere on this subdivision, there was a wetland crossing already done. It might have not been on your lot. It
On
might
these
have
lots
been
up
a
in
little
here.
bit further up.
That
Yes,
sounds
I
right.
believe
Yep,
it
yep.
was,
Okay.
that they had to go wetlands crossing because that.
Yeah, there's actually 2 cul-de-sacs, there's one, 2 culverts, there's one right here,
Mhm.
and the second one is right in front of the knoll. There's one here and one.
One
here.
there, one
But now,
there.
those were old culverts, correct?
Yes, they
Yes.
probably didn't when they were on.
Right, that was done at that time, so it wouldn't, anything you would do back there, you would have to go through the DES
Okay.
and file a wetland permit crossing to go back there. Because whether or not not knowing when they were put in. It could have been before, you know, who knows what the regulations were at that time.
With the correct sizing.
Right,
Yes.
right.
The planning board has granted waivers for cul-de-sacs longer than 600 feet, I presume, in the past. Yeah, that's what I figured. Just worth asking. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to ask that I haven't covered?
Not that I can think of at the present time. You're saying though it is asphalt road with Cape Cod berm. Planning board.
It's all in our subdivision. The other thing is, when you're ready to do the roadway, you know, that we will have someone who will be there to oversee the whole development of the roadway. The other thing is, I do not know and I can't answer for you, it would be the Board of Selectmen that will decide whether or not they're going to accept the road as a public road or whether it will stay a private road.
Okay, if it stayed a private road, would it be, still have to be asphalt?
Well, these are all questions that I will have to look at for you. You know, we don't get that
Appreciate
many
that.
new roads that are being done.
Okay.
So we can certainly look into it and get you an answer.
Okay, well, just the difference between asphalt and gravel is about $35,000.
Oh, I know it's not
You know.
inexpensive to put roads in.
And should we follow up with you and call you, or?
I will get the information and Gus can get a hold of you and let you know.
Or again, we
what
can
find
type
out.
up something, send it to you,
Yeah.
whatever we find.
Okay?
Who is the town's consultant for overview of construction and such?
It varies from job to job.
Oh, okay, so you don't have someone that's the regular consultant, okay,
No. We have used different entities.
in the past, yeah.
Yes.
Anything else that we should be talking about?
Welcome for any questions if they have any.
No. I will get you some answers to the questions you asked, and we'll get those to you, so that it'll help you.
Excellent.
But in the meantime, I would suggest you talk to DOT.
Okay.
Okay? And fire, because they're going to have their own, what they want to see, so that they know that it will support the weight of the truck.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I drive a truck for a living. I wouldn't want to go out there with a big truck.
I don't know what
Get stuck.
what would they do for drainage? I mean, if they, a berm would make it run down Keelsville Road, wouldn't it?
No, they'll have to put drainage in. If drainage is, you know, just like any road that we have in town, they have the drainage that runs along the side.
Actually, when the water comes down Caleb Hill Road already, I live just before the crest. It
Yeah.
comes down,
Mhm.
it has a wetlands, a culvert that crosses the road right
Yeah.
before the property.
Okay.
Yep,
The state could actually do a little more to help it drain,
Right.
because it does go into the bottom of the driveway that we have between the two common properties.
Yeah.
right.
That's up to them.
Mhm.
But other than that, I mean, it's pretty well drains off. And everything out back, there's no major puddles, everything drains off. There's a road out there, like I said, they've logged that road. And basically, it has,
Yeah, but
I
when
should
it's,
say,
when it
a
turns
New
to the
Hampshire,
pavement, it's gonna be.
it has a New Hampshire swale to it already off to the side. And that's why I was asking if it's gravel or pavement. I mean, pavement,
Well, if it's pavement, then it's gonna
Right.
drain a lot differently than it does now.
Correct.
Right.
that was my main concern, whether it was gonna be
Where
pavement.
where I work, we just had to put a Cape Cod berm in
Yes.
because it just, we kept getting heavy rain
Yeah.
and it kept washing away the edge of the driveway and we finally put the kibosh on that.
So that they have a private road, I believe the private road standards have the same, the ordinance has the same criteria for construction as the public road.
Well,
Some
not
do and some
necessarily.
don't.
In this particular case, I think it's going to have to be a public road, because you're asking to access more than two lots off of, you know, like now, what has prevented that from being further subdivided in the past is the fact that you can only service two lots off of one driveway.
Okay,
So that's why in the past, we've gotten questions about it, and I said, no, either you have to put in a public way,
yeah,
And then you can have driveways off of the public way, but you can't serve, multiple homes off of one drive.
So there's usually, there appears to be in a regulation a distinction between a driveway or a common driveway and a private street. Because a private street's built to public
Right.
road standards.
Right.
If it were a private street, possibly that private street could be, or maybe, I guess to be determined, it could be gravel, possibly?
Yes, I will look into that for you, because
Okay.
I'm not sure anything I would say,
Yeah, sure, no, I understand.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility you could have a private street to gravel
Yeah.
standards
right.
that could serve multiple lots.
Most definitely, I would build it to the best of my the ability to make it so that it's safe and
Right.
passable at all times of the year.
Yeah.
Mud season's very tough around here, and I would definitely make sure there's enough, I wouldn't want to get stuck or.
Right. Well, the primary thing is to have the safety aspect, so that you know that your either ambulances or fire equipment
I
can
agree
get
with
in
that
and out.
100%.
Yeah. Because that has been an issue in the past, so this is why some of the rules changed, to ensure that they can get where they need to go.
Can't meet them at the end of the driveway.
Right.
Okay, I think
Sounds
we
good.
heard what we need to hear. We appreciate your time and have a good evening.
Yes, you
Thank
too.
you.
And I'll get the information together as soon as I can.
Excellent.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ma'am, what was your name?
Sandy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, number 2, conceptual discussion for South Bay Resort at 822 Laconia Road, R8/1.
Great, thank you. Don't know if this will work. My name's Phil Hastings. I'm an attorney with Cleveland Wires and Bats in Concord. That's it.
Just lay it down, we'll make the best of it.
Lay this down. I represent 822 Laconia Road LLC, the owner of, unsurprisingly, 822 Laconia Road. Dominic Canzano is here. Dominic is the agent for the LLC. The property, I don't know how familiar everybody is with this, but to orient you, this is heading east towards Laconia.
That's right on Route 3.
On Route 3. This is a very unusual situation, I think. What's shown here is the as-built plan from 2007. I represented the prior owner at that time. Dominic was involved. Were you on the planning board at the time, Dominic?
Yeah.
At that time, there was a larger residence here, as you can see, 10 cabins, seasonal cabins scattered around the front of the site, another small building out here. And then there was in the back of the site, there was trailers, tents, very unsightly from what I remember going back there. We came to the planning board in 2007 with a plan to eliminate all of the temporary tents, camps, trailers in the back, convert the existing building to 4 units of less than 650 square feet each, and then take the existing 10 cabins down and replace them with 20 new cabins, each of which would be less than 650 feet, which was permitted under the zoning then. One single-family residence at the rear of the site. So that was the plan in 2007. The planning board approved that plan, I think in April or May of 2007. What happened next is that the owner at the time did remove all of these structures back here. They converted the 4 units in this building to apartments. They did those improvements. They did not complete the condominium. The condominium plan was recorded at the Registry of Deeds. The declaration and bylaws, which I had prepared, there were some conditions in the original approval about the language that needed to be in that. That was all done, ready to be signed and recorded. It was never done. No condominium units have been sold. And the cabins have not been, the cabins as you see them on this sheet are in the same location, as I understand it. I don't think there's been any changes physically to that part of the project. The owner at the time with the economy couldn't make these changes. They couldn't make it go. It went into foreclosure. The current owner, Archie Cerullo, through 822 Laconia Road, has owned it since 2007, I believe. 2011, 2 or 3 years. So where we are right now is we have an approved project to complete this, but it hasn't been completed. In my mind, it's partially completed. Some of the improvements have been done, some of the requirements have been met, but not, the full plan has not been effectuated. What my client would like to do is complete what's shown on this plan. So we're here tonight just to get some direction from you as to what it would take to reaffirm this plan as it stands to continue going forward.
Well, I mean, you have the condition of approval that was given with the approval. Nothing has happened that I'm aware of that would have undone what has been done. It was never completed. I'm not even sure, without looking, whether or not the conditions of approval were all met or they weren't met. I don't know. Well, I mean, if you haven't, I know that not all the condo documents were recorded.
Right, that was the
So-
big one.
Right. So that wasn't something that they could have gone forward with as far as selling units.
Right, right.
I don't know, on all of the, you must have had to get a site-specific. Was there any wetland crossings? I'm not sure at this point. But any of your permits, it would have been told whether or not they're going to have.
They all have to be renewed.
Okay, so all of that would have to be
All permits are
Right.
expired, it's been more than 5 years.
Yeah.
That's some of the stuff we're gonna have to go back and
Right.
do.
Right,
We have to have everything changed in his name as well.
yeah.
The conditions were all existing campers and structures located on what was referred to as a campground will be removed by September 1st, 2007.
And that was
All
done.
those have been done.
Yep,
Demolition work will require a permit from the town.
right.
That's still in place. Compliance with state fire codes and any conditions or recommendations made by the fire department. I don't believe there were any, but any new building. would
On the
have to comply.
demolition permit, you might want to check. Generally, those have to be renewed after a year,
Okay,
so you might want to look into that.
Yep.
okay. Compliance with Tilton signage regulations, that's an ongoing
Right.
condition. Any exterior lighting will be downcast. I don't remember if there was any lighting.
There was no lighting there, but should they be, we have to
Right.
comply.
Change condominium documents to include note about no boats or other recreational vehicles allowed on site. That we incorporated into
Right.
the final documents. Add a note to documents regarding no maintenance work on automobiles and no unregistered or no inspected vehicles. We included that. Add note that all non-dwelling units are seasonal and constructed as a secondary place of residence for seasonal vacations and recreational purposes and not as a principal residence. That we incorporated into the documents. All non-dwelling units shall not be expanded beyond 650 square feet.
Right.
We did that. Obtain all state, federal, and local permits. All septic and leach fields will be removed according to state recommended procedures.
That's been completed.
That's been
Yeah,
completed.
there's all sewer in there right now. The only thing that has to be done is, the sewer went up And what they did is they tied into the existing lines.
Mhm.
At some point, once we do what we have to do, there'll be, from the new sewer lines, there'll be new sewer lines going to each one of them cabins. Because
Right.
they weren't able to get under there, you know what I mean, at that time, so.
So it would still be part of the process of,
Yeah, yeah,
Running
it's,
sewer.
there is sewer.
Putting the
There's sewer,
utilities
but it's just like I said, we ran a main trunk all the way up, and we pieced in the
Mhm.
cottages as we went along,
right,
so. But we intend to just run all new stuff right up to the cabins,
yep.
off the main lines.
So if we were to renew the permits, ensure all these conditions were satisfied, ensure the condominium documents match the conditions, match the plan, the approved plan,
Right.
we could go forward to do that. Is there any impediment
Well,
that you
unless
see?
there's something going on there that I'm not aware of, you know, I don't know. I had heard something about that he, the previous owner, I don't want to name him, had not gone through the proper procedures as far as the town was concerned on when he had to get inspections done, and there was no COs.
Yeah,
Has that been taken care of?
Your Mr. Plessner
Yeah.
issued the building permits.
Right,
At the time, I have a copy of the permit.
Mhm.
At the time that the units were being completed, the state building inspector and the state electrical inspector came up and
Right.
inspected everything. However, they never got a CO for the.
okay, so they're missing the COs.
They're missing the CO.
And just for the rest of the folks here, that's for the COs in
But
the
inside-
4 units
four
in the
units.
building.
Yeah.
4 units,
Right.
okay,
But everything else was done.
okay.
And if the town needs to, well, we've been trying to obtain the permits, and it's been like trying to pull teeth from the state, so if you need to see them, we will have to produce them.
Yeah, well, I understand that also, I was out of the loop for a while, but I understand that the state people have changed hands. It's not the same individuals that it was at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously this is going to
It was
lead.
just, I can't tell you how many times I've been down there, and they've been doing this and this, and I said, oh, boy.
Yeah,
So it has the state, I tried to talk to Rick, and he says he couldn't find it. So it's my job to go find them, I guess.
yeah. They didn't have any idea of numbers? or
No, no ideas.
anything? Okay,
So like I said, the only thing that we're missing is the certificate of occupancy that
Right.
that they completed.
okay,
I remember them coming. I
Yeah.
actually walked through with them, so.
was this when
This-
Joe was still there or
No,
after?
no, it was after Joe.
Okay.
Yeah. He just issued the permit.
Right, but I mean, sometimes, I know he would always go with the state guys.
Yeah, he was gone.
So he would sometimes get copies. And I
Yeah.
was thinking I could ask him if he had copies, but if it was after his time.
So we're picking up the pieces, and
Mhm.
we'll continue to pick up the pieces.
Right.
And hopefully get things back on track.
Mhm. Yep.
Any other questions, concerns?
The only other thing is, and you may have already done it, permits do expire. So if you have leftover permits, you might want to just come in. I don't know what his policy is, whether he charges to renew or what, but I'm just letting you know you
Yeah.
should check that.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yep.
didn't see any permits pulled for demo. The only permit that was pulled was for the construction.
Oh, for the building inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
No,
Yeah.
no
demo
No,
permits have
there
been
was,
pulled.
there was no
Okay,
permits
okay,
pulled,
Okay,
no.
so I'm just saying, if you have existing permits, you
No,
might
we
want
don't
to check
have
with
any.
the town to make
Yeah,
sure
the only
that-
permits we had, are the permits to, the first thing we wanted to start was the house.
Mhm.
And the 4 units were done,
Right,
and that's
the
completed.
drainage and the swale, is that?
Oh, that's a whole, that's part of the wetlands requirements,
Right,
and,
okay.
yeah, that has to be done. And I'm not quite sure if, what we were kind of like thinking is that maybe we could if, once we get this completed, if we can do half the project, and then try not to do the whole infrastructure from the bottom of the driveway all the way up, because there's not gonna be anything there for a while. I think we just want to try to do the first 10, and then do the second 10 later on. So he's trying to spend as least possible money as possible, but yet get the project done, as well as during this process, he's trying to sell the building and the property. So it's, I told him, I says, the more we do, the better it is for you, the town, and the sale of the property.
And we did, when we approved this, I realized this today, Dominic, we had
Excuse me?
the first, we had broken it into phases.
Right, this was
So
supposed
the
to be
first
phase
phase,
one
the
right
road sort of stubs here in the
Right.
back of the main building.
Right.
So we had thought about that 6 years ago, and I forgot.
So, and I would suggest, as you're going along, if you have any questions or, you're gonna need changes, then obviously you'll come
We'll come
speak
see
to all
you.
of us.
Right. First thing I'm gonna do is get the permits through the wetlands
Yeah.
permits. We might have to have some people come out and take a look at the wetlands again, because it's
Right.
after the, 5 years,
Right.
sometimes they shrink, and sometimes they grow, so.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand.
Mhm.
Especially after this summer.
Right. I'm hoping to show.
Mostly growing this summer.
I'm saying, I hope
Really
they.
seem like
Good
it.
last summer when it was dry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Are we done? Good.
Yep,
Thank you.
great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck in getting it done.
Yep.
Thank you, Dom.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Nick.
See you later.
I guess we have to open, we can continue to do a public hearing on the master plan.
We were given two things that have been,
Yeah, I just want to make sure you,
Okay, and I still haven't figured out the economics chapter on this. I am.
is there anyone that's good with doing, reading graphs and filling in information?
I just don't know where to put the information that's here into this. I just, I've looked at it and,
Well,
I'm
maybe,
good at it, but right now I'm just,
maybe what you need to do is take the information, I don't think any of us would mind if you need to change the different charts, to bring them up to date. If something is
well, I
not
don't know
in-
where all, like, some of it, like employment wages and households and, where it all needs to go and how to decipher all of this information, I guess, is what I've looked at it and I'm like, some of it, like I did part of
Gus,
it.
why don't I plan to come next week?
Okay,
Not this week, but
I
next
did the
week.
equalization.
Come down and sit down with you one day.
okay, sure,
Hey. Very nice of you.
very nice.
How come you-
Because like, I mean, the house sales
All
are
of us or
only
some
up
of
to
us, or-
2005.
I just,
I don't know where
I'm
to get
down
that
at the point
information,
where I would,
what we've done for house sales.
Yeah,
you want to come take a look?
Do we want some people from the town involved?
No,
No.
that's
That's
not what this is.
That's not what she wants. She wants to just know where to plug the information.
I need help with plugging.
I guess I get a little confused sometimes when I see something that says public hearing, and I expect to see public.
well,
be,
you get used to it,
involved.
Well, no, when you have public hearings, the public is certainly welcome. And, they can be part of our discussions, they can make suggestions, give their ideas. But as you can see, they have to come.
They have to come, that's
So,
my point.
and just because it's kind of like next month when we're going to be meeting with hopefully as many businesses.
No, this month.
No, this
Next
month,
meeting.
at the end of this
This
month. Hopefully, we'll get enough people here, but just because they make suggestions and give us ideas, we may or may not be able to implement everything that's
Absolutely.
talked about.
Yeah.
Because we still have to think about everyone that lives in town, and I know that business in general, and rightfully so, they want as much signage as they can have, but, you know, the people who live here don't necessarily want all that signage, so. But it is nice, I mean, it's kinda like the selectmen, I mean, we devote the front part of our meeting to any public opinion, if people wanna come. We figured it would be better that way, they don't have to sit through the whole meeting, you know, if they don't want to, they're welcome to. So we moved the public input at the front, and I can't tell you the last time we had any public show up.
I think you will for this one. For next week, the next
Oh,
meeting.
yeah.
The next
Oh,
meeting.
I certainly
Oh,
hope
yeah.
so, yes.
Well, if not, then they can't.
Well, we have to vote on, the letters there for you to vote, you
Oh,
have
yes,
to review
so-
that and approve it, and if you
Right.
approve it, I will put it on.
Well, I would suggest if we're
Finish up.
going to still be working on it, then why don't we make a motion to continue it again, so that we can get this last chapter finished?
Sure.
Doesn't do any good to adopt it if it's not ready.
No, that's the only
So,
one
when is our next meeting that would be,
September.
10th, I think.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yes.
Get the board here. September 10th.
all right, then I make a meeting, I make
Wait a
a
minute.
motion that we continue this master plan public hearing until September 10th to give the board the opportunity to have a finished master plan to adopt and sign.
I second that.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Not here.
because I mean, we want to do it and do it right, so
Yeah.
it doesn't do any good to adopt it if we have a chapter that's not finished. Okay,
Moving on. Other business. Do we want to do these four things here first, or do we?
Well, you can approve the minutes if you want
Okay.
first. It's up to
All
you.
right, we have approval of the minutes from July 9th, 2013. I have one typo. Over
Where?
there.
Where?
Page 2,
Yep.
second big paragraph.
second big
Yeah,
paragraph.
Mr. Abrams stated, stated plans are 3 feet by 6 feet and weigh
Wait,
2,000 pounds.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
get rid of the
Yeah.
is.
And then I thought that should be a period, and then, or, I don't know, it just sounded weird. And they
I can
have
take
drains
that
that
out,
do not
yeah.
crack.
I'll
Or just,
put-
I'll just make that a small sentence, that they have drains, so they
Yeah.
don't crack.
Yeah.
They're removable. It was like, almost like a bullet point list or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay,
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as corrected.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Move right along. We'll do correspondence first, I guess.
We have to sign this.
Okay.
Country Meadows, is that? Oh, you want to do
That's
correspondence?
fine, I
We
was
can
just gonna
do
go
it.
down, I was just gonna go right down the page.
Go ahead, correspondence.
All right. Let's see, page 1, Tilton Northfield Fire and EMS, Tilton Sports Center, Bob Callahan, 1 Autumn Drive. Dear Bob, a limited visual inspection was conducted at your facility known as Tilton Sports Center located at 100 Autumn Drive in Tilton, New Hampshire on August 13th, 2013. The purpose of this inspection was for final approval of your renovations and installation of an indoor playing field. Exit capacity, exit signs, emergency lighting from the field was found adequate. A small concession area outside the field area has also been installed. My understanding drinks, hot/cold, and prepackaged bowls will be sold, and that no food preparation will be occurred. Tilton Center, Sports Center is approved for operation. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Bradley Ober, Chief. Another one, Tilton Sports Center from Bob Callahan to Gus. Dear Gus, after reading the article in the Winnisquam Echo, I wanted to clarify some points in the article that the reporter misinterpreted. The outdoor eating area is just a patio that was installed 6 years ago, and I thought it'd be nice to be a nice It would be a nice place to sit and get some fresh air while the parents wait for their kids playing a game. The second floor referred to as just a proposed phase 2 project. There's nothing in development at this time. The parking lot plan has been held up due to weather and will be finished next week. Then I'll be getting final building and fire department inspections from the town. Thanks, Bob.
So they're not doing anything upstairs?
No. I can confirm that if I'm allowed to.
That was just a new business.
Yeah, new existing business registration form from Tilton Sports Center. And then this is
That's the parking lot
the
for the
parking
smoke.
lot schematic plan for Tilton Sports Center.
And there's a bigger one in case people wanted to see it bigger. You open it
Bigger
up.
version. All right, State of New Hampshire Department of Transportation. Town of Tilton, location on 337 Calefhill Road. Please find attached a driveway permit application for Michelle Jackson on Calefhill Road.
Yep.
For the information review,
Just for paving.
paving. Next one. State of New Hampshire Department of Transportation. Do I need to wait?
Nope. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Driveway permit for Phillips House and Cottages, Route 3, the Emery Way?
Emery Way.
Emery Way. Driveway permit for,
Yeah, that's the applications they've received.
okay, the access to business and stuff. Newsletter from the Hampshire DES Drinking Water and Water Source Protection Program, the source. Talk about water. We have plenty of it. Anyone else see? No? Moving on, the Hampshire Division of Historical Resources. Aspen Environmental Consultants. This is a Costa property.
Yeah, it's a piece of property up by the lake that's being sold, and they had to
Okay.
have an archaeological.
Where's that at?
It's up by the lake, across,
Let me
before the
Laconia Road.
Shalimar on the other side of the road near the lake.
Proposed residential development,
Yeah.
Laconia Road, map U2, lot 47.
Right.
It just says that there was no historical value to the, they didn't have to do
No value
anything,
to the road.
basically.
Right.
Let's see, this is a picture.
That was the picture you sent, and then I spoke to Mr. Cropsey about the parking lot. Remember last time there was a question about it?
Yes.
So I kind of took your picture and put his response underneath. If everybody wants to see it, they can. I made a bunch, they can pass them
What
on.
did he say?
We're gonna find out in just a second.
Just a second, you can read it.
Okay?
I got more. Holy cow, how many copies did you make?
I just made them. I don't know how many we're gonna have
Everyone get
sometimes.
one? Stop by the office to submit a variance application for signage for Riverfront Place. Stated the parking area is gravel. He had the area seeded with grass, with the hot, dry weather. Grass did not take. He stated he's planning to have it reseeded. He stated,
It's just like it's been for 2 years now.
Yeah, and when they had that big wedding, it was all up on
He
the
said
lawn
he-
area.
yes, that's where this is from.
And he said that he still hasn't decided on pavement. He said, what did he say? He had to come back to the town whether he's gonna have pavers or asphalt.
Well, he talked
Oh,
about
I
it,
told him
when
that-
he was here, he talked about impervious pavers, he talked about,
Right.
Right,
I thought he was gonna have it all nicely done and
he
landscaped.
was supposed to 2 years ago. I don't know.
No, when he came back and.
It's the same old thing.
Yeah, but if you recall, we told him he'd have to come back before the planning board to end any confusion, so that he knows he has to come back when he decides what he's gonna do with it, other than this temporary field, park cars in. Because, you know, it's just like the plan he brought us, there was a lot of stuff on that plan that he says was approved, it never was. So, you know, that's why I told him, get rid of all this stuff, that was never done. So,
Well, there's, I mean, when I went by this, it's
Back
just roped
to
off with red electrical
Well,
warning tape, and he had spray painted chalk lines for parking spaces, and,
is that what he did?
oh yeah, I can show
I
you.
haven't been down there at all.
Well, the last time I was down there, it wasn't, it was still very wild. You know, I hadn't,
Or do we need to have Al write him a letter that he cannot use phase 2 of his building because phase 2 of the building was contingent upon this being complete. And he's assured us over and over the day he came that he was gonna complete it.
Yeah.
So
And
if it's
this
not
make-
complete,
and this
they
makes
cannot
no
use
sense.
phase 2.
This makes no sense. He stated the parking area is gravel. He had the area seeded with grass. Now, which is it? Is it gravel or is it grass? If
We
it's gravel,
tried to
why
have
would he
it-
have it seeded with grass?
To hold the gravel.
To
Well,
hold the gravel.
that's not a gravel parking lot.
Well,
And it's, I mean, it makes no sense.
We asked if he could
Well,
have
that's what,
gravel.
he does make sense, but that's what he said.
But since he has not complied with the terms of phase 2,
right.
then phase 2 at his building has got to cease continuance until such time as it's,
Well, we will tell Al that he needs to send him a letter, because this does not look like, even if it's just a gravel parking lot, it doesn't look like it's finished.
It's exactly what I took a picture of a
This
year
was
ago,
the-
2 years ago.
This was the upper part of the lot,
yeah, I saw it when I drove
and
by.
then that was the lower part of the lot.
Yeah. So,
I think I still have the pictures I
Yeah,
took.
The same one the year ago.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, he
you
needs
know,
to
I would
stop.
say, if Al is in tomorrow, ask him to please send him a letter that this is not in a finished state.
It's, the upstairs is actively being promoted by,
You know,
Oh, yeah.
She's at least set
I
up,
forget the name of it, La
La
Plaza.
Peace,
La
La
Peace.
Peace or something,
she
yeah.
has events there.
Well, she has a Facebook page, I mean. she
Yeah,
has
she's got a lot of stuff.
a
But I
website.
mean, she has events
Website.
there,
All the
whether
time.
it's weddings or,
Yeah.
I think this one
parties.
actually might have been in conjunction with the Black Swan Inn at the same time, I'm not, it was.
It all depends on the weekend. Black Swan had a big thing going on too, so they use it as well as she does.
Well, we went to one and they weren't using it.
Black Swan didn't use it.
Black Swan didn't use it.
No, they just
Sunday.
had that,
We used her yard, the side yard in front of the barn.
It didn't have anything to do with crops on Mill Street.
no,
No.
I don't know if she does or not. I know one weekend that she was supposed to have people camping there, and she was gonna use parking down there. Or she was gonna have people camping on the lawn, but I don't know if that happened.
That's when she had the,
Was that the old-
vegan, no, the vegan cookout or whatever, she had the vegan thing.
Oh, okay. Well, that I don't know if she's got some kind of arrangement with him, but this really does not look like a parking lot.
What is that, what's the,
My field across the street where we had the wedding and we cut it so they could park there,
It's
it
the
looks
same.
better than that.
yeah.
Well, if that's what
What's-
he did,
what's
it would
the
look better
variance
than that.
application we're
If he
talking
cleaned it
about?
up.
That's
Oh, we
They've
don't
gotta
get
stop
variance,
using
that
phase
goes
2
before
until-
the
until this is
ZBA, the
done.
zoning board.
You don't even get to see it?
And when they're done, we usually get a copy of what they ended up doing with it.
What else do we have?
All right, moving on, done with that folder. What's underneath the folder?
Now go get the thing to sign.
Oh, sorry.
can I bring up something there, or do you wanna wait?
Go ahead, I'm going to walk over here though.
Okay. I understand that, Mr. Fanulu, they're doing the road now, and I understand that he has contracted somebody to do the sprinkler system
Has he?
in the 3rd floor. Does he have to do a site plan before he can?
Yes,
He's got a site plan, and he knows he's got I gave him everything. He's got a site plan before he can build it.
right, he can't put the 3rd floor in until
But
he
he's
comes
doing a
in.
sprinkler system in the 3rd floor.
Right.
Well, the sprinkler system would be between him and the fire department.
But why would he do it before he does a site plan?
Well, I don't,
He's putting the line in for the fire, but I don't think he's putting it in yet. I think he's putting the line, because Brad was in the other day, he said he hasn't not seen the plan. for
Maybe
the
one of those things
sprinkler
where
system.
Dennis wants him to get into the, dig into the road if he needs to before.
Well,
they
the
pave
water
it.
company is that's a water company.
yeah, the water
That's
company's
a
got
water
it torn
company.
up right now.
Does he know he has to do a site plan?
Oh, yes.
We
He
said it
sat-
that night too.
I know, but
We
has
said
he?
it,
No,
that
he
Yeah,
came
I-
in to talk to Alan. I told him, you have to do a site plan. I gave him the information. I said, you have to do all of this.
yes,
And I said, you can't get a building permit until you do the site plan.
right. And I told Al, I said, you can't give him a, until he gets a site
I
plan.
also told him.
Who
So-
else has signed?
The secretary is not here. Elaine is the secretary, but.
Right, the water?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, the primary one is here signing, so,
Yeah, we should sign these too. Paper too.
the what?
Paper ones too. Sign
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, because otherwise you're not gonna know if that's the recorded one or not.
you know, and
Well, while we're sitting here, I just wanted to bring up, if there's anything in the zoning that you think needs to be addressed, you know, I really feel strongly that we need to read over our sexual-oriented regulations, and wherever there's references to distance from schools and stuff, we have to take that out.
Oh, that's true.
Because they're losing in court all the time, so why would you lose something in place that you're gonna lose in court?
So we'll look at that for next March.
Yes, we need to look at that and make any changes for next town meeting so we can get that approved. Also, it will get thrown out of court because we only allow it in the industrial zone.
I know.
And that is also a no-no, that's taking away their rights. So we need to come up with, I was thinking like maybe general commercial. You know, it's a short little
Do
strip.
we know any towns where it's been defended successfully what they have as zoned in as?
Well, unfortunately, they started throwing these cases out against towns because of, especially the distance. They're saying that that takes away their rights, that they can locate anywhere where there's a commercial area, just like any other business. You can't say you have to be 500 feet from this or 2,000 feet from that.
That's something we can look into.
Yes,
We'll
so-
all research it and then.
Yeah, I think
We
we
have
need,
some
if
time.
we
Yeah.
all spend a
Good to get
little
started.
time just looking around on the internet at these different, how they're being changed, so that we can consider whether or not to change ours. Because if something comes in, hopefully it doesn't, but at least we want to know we've got something that can be defended in court.
Did you have one call?
I did have one call. And I said they wanted it downtown, and I said, not permitted. And I never heard from him again, so.
Yeah. So you don't have to let it, you know, be available in all districts, but we have to at least make it somewhat available.
There's a two-bedroom for sale. Very good.
And the only other thing is if there's something in the zoning that you think needs to be updated, now's the time to be looking at it and, you know, thinking
Right.
about it. Because, you know, what worked great 2 years ago maybe needs to be tweaked.
We'll do that.
CIP too. What about the CIP?
Well, that's something else we have to talk about. You know, from what we got, from both the attorneys and everything else, is the way that these impact fee regulations have been slaughtered, if you will, in, you know, the state and stuff. It's kind of hard to do anything with them. So you have to come up with some kind of an idea in your mind, or are we still going to try and pursue it with all the, you know, like the restrictions that they put on it? It used to be that if you collected from everything coming through, say to build a new fire station, just for the sake of talking. But now they're saying if you don't use that money within, 5 years, you have to give it back.
6.
6 years. So how likely, unless you just, maybe back in the beginning of the building boom, but right now, how long would it take to get enough money from impact fees? It might take us 10, 15 years. And so,
By then you have to give it back and,
yeah, start all over
you
again.
know.
So this is an issue. I mean, it just seems to me like after all we found out, is it really a worthwhile thing? We know that we have the right to assess or cause new developments to improve roads. We have the right, you know, on things like that already. Now, we don't have anything on our schools. We didn't go that route because, to be honest, our schools were enlarged, but our population is now decreasing that goes to school. So as far as that goes, you know, we don't really, but we don't have anything anyway. It's another one of those setups that we could contribute some, but unless all the other towns are gonna contribute too, how do you spend that money?
Yeah.
So having the district there, and of course with the fire, we really wanted to do that, but we can't because they don't own any There's no property that is town property that they're using. They own everything. They own Center Street. So we can't collect impact fees. It's something that doesn't belong to the town. They're their own entity. So all we can do is, we do have the one for the roads, but even that we found out that you can't go out. There's certain things you can't do. But we, as a group, if somebody comes in, like pretty much everything along exit 20, they were forced through the approval process that they had to improve the route 3 going through there and widen it. So I think the DOT had this dream that eventually they'd have 4 lanes all the way to Laconia, as it developed all along. But obviously that hasn't happened. But we also have the same ability if it's going in on a town road, and we feel that it's going to create traffic nightmares because of the volume of traffic, that we have the ability to say, you have to widen and bring the road up to, standards so that you can have turning lanes or whatever might be needed. We do have that authority still with the RSAs. But I honestly don't know how to treat this whole thing with the impact fees now, because we're so limited.
Are we just a day late and a dollar short in terms of passing our opportunity?
Well, I think it was partly that, but way back when we were getting so much development, the state was also making a lot of rules and regulation changes when it came to this. And so now we've ended up, well, I don't know if you were all at the meeting, maybe you weren't, but with the attorney telling us that basically today it means nothing, because they've tied your hands so much that unless it's just a short little project that it won't take you long to raise the money for, you're kind of out in left field. There's too many restrictions now being put on the towns. So how do you deal with that? I don't know. I don't know if it's even worthwhile to pursue. So I don't have an answer for you. I really don't. So I guess as a group, you just have to decide what you're going to do with it. But if we're going to still try and do something with it, then we have to look at having another CIP this year where we collect projects and decide from the projects, if we get enough of them, which ones we're going to recommend and which ones
We
we
didn't get
aren't.
anything
And
last
the
year,
the
really.
ones we got from the police the year before weren't really legal anyway.
Yeah.
We found out from the state, because
Yeah.
it's for equipment and
Yeah.
it has to be for building
Building,
improvement
it's
or.
gotta be for big ones.
Should we put that on our September 10th agenda?
Discuss CIP and then just
Yeah.
Make
figure
a
out what we
decision one
wanna
way or
do.
the other.
Yeah, and meanwhile, if, like we're gonna be looking at sexual stuff, maybe, well, that sounds.
Keep going, Sandy.
Everybody will be here.
Yes.
Probably September 11th meeting.
Maybe we can start, I'll start looking for things to read on impact fees and how, how towns are dealing with it. I mean, I know when I was doing my research, I did see where some towns have just done away with it.
Yeah, I had saw that too in Plan, like there was so much came in that they would just, because it took so much to just monitor the money,
Right.
to make sure that that was going where it was supposed to, and that it was just too much for the towns to handle.
Right. So anyway, I just, I don't mean to be a bearer of bad news, but I don't know how we're supposed to use this effectively. So, but anyway, I'll keep looking. I mean, maybe there's towns out there that have found a way to, use it the way they need to. But, and I still feel that it would be worthwhile if we can find, projects that are reasonable enough that where it won't take us that long to collect that kind of money.
That's one of my things, all right. I have to trickle,
Sorry, this is,
we can buy
take
a new hard hat.
New hard
By the highway department, I have hard hats.
all right. This is the one we got in the mail.
Yeah, and I just added them. You know, and Sandy made a couple little changes, and I sent
Oh,
that
yeah.
to you, but I just want everybody to say, okay, that's what we wanna go with, and that's what
I
we'll
think it
do.
looks great.
And I think
it looks great too.
I think I'll put it on some nice colored paper so it stands
Yeah,
out.
that's fine.
Canary, goldenrod yellow.
Yeah.
No, it's a very, stands out.
I'm allergic to goldenrods, forget that.
All right.
I put it in upstairs, is that gonna be okay? I mean, there's no one else gonna be up there that day. I'm just thinking we'll have a bigger crowd than this little room. will.
Yeah, no, that's
Hey,
fine.
it should be,
Oh, yeah, I'll have to get some, because I don't have any.
should be an enthusiastic group.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to get some goldenrod yellow.
Really, man.
So anyway, we got a couple
I don't know
more.
if he's gonna.
We gotta review the proposed signage for Aspen.
So the letter's okay to
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Yes, letter's okay.
print on goldenrod paper.
I just suggested, I don't know, that's what, when I have to get making.
I'm allergic to goldenrod, I nixed that.
Oh, you do? What color you want?
Here's what we got.
Passionate pink,
Oh, wait, no, I got it.
raisin raspberry?
Oh, that's okay.
I'll share with
You
you.
can share us, you can share.
Yeah, whatever
So
you
what's
do.
our questions?
This
Signage,
is just a
Aspen
review of the
signage.
signage, proposed signage for Aspen.
I think I'm gonna need to go get some. I have a lot there.
All right.
Oops, hold on. This is all
I'm just gonna put bright
together.
color.
Yeah,
Pink.
No,
well,
we're not pink.
has Al seen this?
Al has a copy of it also, but I mean, they want a lot of signage.
Yeah, they do. They want signs all the way around. I thought the signage on the building was for the facade.
It's supposed to be for the facade.
Yeah.
10% of the facade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're
Evidently, they want facade on every side of their facade.
apparently so.
Where's Pete's?
We don't approve, we don't have it on the sides. They have it on here, but our regulations do not.
Our regulations don't say anything about.
I told him he sent it in. I told him I would get back to him on
Yeah,
that.
this is-
When I looked at it, I said, oh.
I mean, I guess the other way to look at it, and I mean, I just, would be to take the size of each sign and then look at the facade and see what 10% is, and if it's within that number. But, you know, otherwise, I would just say, well, I mean, I know they have a unique setup there. They can be seen all the way around. Normally, when you pull into a business, you see the front and maybe part of the side, but, and this would be, like coming down the highway, you're gonna see 3 sides depending on.
If you're coming up looking for it, you'd see it.
Right. I don't know, I don't know what,
LA channel.
I guess we have to, regional commercial. 1 sign pertaining to the seals on the front of the plate, not exceeding total, that's the freestanding.
Gaudy.
But that's just for freestanding, I'm looking for the part that talks about.
I've never seen a freestanding Aspen Dental.
I haven't either, that's what I just said, I've
Yeah.
seen.
See them in shopping centers,
I see
you
a
know,
few.
the one in Concord's in the shopping center,
I
so.
think I see them
Okay,
down
where
south.
needed,
Oh.
additional signage may be posted on the business provided that it is limited to 10% of square footage of the facade. And then I think, don't we have a definition of facade in here?
Yes, and the facade is.
The facade, the exterior front wall face of a building.
But
Now
that one
that's-
has front wall face everywhere.
No, they have to pick which one they
Yeah.
want to be their front.
Facade signage refers to a sign that is mounted flush, not perpendicular to the building, except in the downtown district. So, I would say that it means a trip to the ZBA.
Okay.
I mean, if you really want to just take the strict
Mm.
interpretation of the zoning, I don't see how we can tell them anything but, no,
We
you
cannot.
can't do it.
Okay.
Because they're going all the way around, all 4 sides.
With on awnings and signs and awnings and,
Now they got, it's on the awnings too, I didn't notice.
yeah,
was
that's
on
what
there.
it says. Is
What's the
awning
They
out?
don't show it, they show on this, but yeah.
I don't know if the sign is on, if they say,
Staple to frame awning, non-illuminated, so it's probably printed on there.
Well, I would,
Like the
I
one
would be
Applebee's
able
used
to
to
go,
do.
if I was you, I'd be able to go with it printed on the awnings if they're over windows on the sides, but not on the building, you know?
You're not showing
Yeah,
us
but
an
it
awning
is-
open, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't know if it's on
Because
the
like
awning.
Well,
at,
it's showing awning F1, F2, and F3,
Yeah,
awning
but-
4, awning 5,
But they're not open, so you don't know if they've got writing on them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sign layout,
They're
sign
not
layout,
showing, they're not showing awnings
right.
with layout, even on the back page.
Oh, they have an awning
It
detail,
doesn't show any
but it
letters.
doesn't show open. Wait, what's this? Oh, that's the pylon. One set, where does this go? Vinyl replacement on existing DF pylon, DF, what is it?
That's just a straight.
Actual size.
I think that's all I've ever seen on any of them.
So how are we gonna get all these signs, all these letters to the people? Anybody decided that? For the businesses?
Oh, I'm like, Aspen, just send them one.
Oh, that one, not Aspen, yeah. You want me to send the one of this too, so he can come to the
Well,
meeting?
I really
There you
think
go.
if we take one day and we each take a section of town, you know, it can be a short section, you know, there's enough of us, just a short section and a handful of these, and go in every business and just hand them one. And that way we can do from the Franklin line all the way up to, you know, the Mosquito Bridge. Will we miss some? We may miss a few.
Well, we can always,
I'm just thinking of businesses that
Yeah.
would be off the main roads.
Catherine Dawson, I was telling her about, she said that she would be willing to post them in some stores, because some stores let her
That's a good
post stuff
idea.
in there.
Mhm.
So I said, well,
Post
when I get them
office.
done, I'll let her know, and
Right.
there's several stores places she's talked about posting them, just so people would
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah,
Post offices,
the post office,
library,
Yep,
Just all the convenience stores, I think.
yep,
Yeah.
the convenience stores.
Wherever we sell the bags.
Bright Lawrence, yeah. Well, of course they get them anyway, but.
But downtown, if you get them ready, I mean, I don't mind going from store to store downtown and
mind
giving them
either.
all a
Yeah,
sign.
yeah, okay.
I'm in the process now of going store to store to get them letters for the Winnipesaukee River Trails. Our, you know, event coming up this year to see if they wanna donate. So
When's
bring
that?
along.
That's in, what,
Yeah,
October?
I'll
October, I think
make
it's,
calls to
hang
her.
on, I got the letter right here. Okay, October 10th, 2013, at the Mojalaki Golf Course in Franklin.
That was nice last time. I went.
Yeah, it was. So we'll have our Taste of the Trail in the auction there again this year. So that's in the process. I started my letter delivery today. I'll finish up tomorrow for the downtown. So,
Yeah, I'll tell them that, I'll just send something back to this gentleman and say,
Yeah.
if you want to have these signs on all four sides of your building,
Need to
you'll
go
need to
zone.
seek a variance from the ZBA
right,
signage.
because it's more
If
than
you
one-
want to go with one sign on the front,
Facade,
on the facade,
yes.
whichever side you say is the facade,
Well, generally it's where your
and
door
they,
is.
and they can put their sign on the plaza sign.
Yeah, they can
you know,
put one on
that
the
plaza
plaza
sign.
Yeah, I
sign.
think obviously they've
I think there's a
interpreted
square left
the
hand field or
facade
something.
as to
Yeah.
be
For that.
the
I think
side
so.
of whatever.
By Chili's?
No, well, there's one on the Pizza Hut property too.
But that's that was an agreement that was reached with the property in the rear, because they had an easement that went right down the middle of that property. And in exchange for doing away with that easement, they put a sign there on the property for that, because that's what he had, was a sign easement.
Mhm.
There used to be a really tall sign that said, what was his name? Something Auto.
Ryan Ford Auto.
Ryan Ford Auto, and with an air tractor. not
Tractor,
tra-
yeah.
You know, and it, you could see it because there was nothing in the front. So he had the easement, so when they were going to develop that property, they traded his easement for it, and they posted the sign out there for, right now it says Jamestown or Jamestown?
James.
But Jameson is on the Pizza Hut side.
I
The other
I'm
side
having
says
a
Chili's
little-
and Kohl's and Lowe's.
There's none over there.
I'm
They
having-
have the plaza sign on that property.
I'm having a
I
little
think-
difficulty understanding why we are so strongly objecting to them having a sign on other than the front of the building.
Because it's not our zoning
Because it's not in
ordinances.
our zoning. So we don't have the right to do something that's not in our zoning. They have to take it to the ZBA. We can make changes and allow little changes to site plan. We can do that with subdivision. But when it comes to the zoning regulations, we
I
can't
didn't want to
change
inundate you
what
with
it
questions,
says
but
in
here it
it.
is.
The only people that can give relief from the zoning is the zoning board. The planning board can't.
Okay, well, why don't we just send them to the zoning board?
Well, that's what
That's
we're
what we're
saying,
doing,
we're
Bob.
gonna do. We're gonna send them a letter saying that they need to go to the zoning board.
Well, I'm gonna call him, I'll email him
Yeah.
and talk to him. I've been in touch
I'm
with him.
sorry it took me so long to catch up.
All right, so you just need to
But
sign that?
that's something
Oh,
that can be changed in the
Yes,
signage next year,
right,
if the board feels like
right.
it should.
And I don't really
that might
have
be
an
something-
objection, you know, because how many towns do you go and you see an Aspen demo? Yes, they have a sign all the way around, because generally their buildings are like that. And I don't really have an objection to them putting signage, you know, as long as it's tasteful, on all four sides of their building, if it's all out in the open like
And you
that.
might be able to
But we have
specify,
to be aware of setting precedent too.
Yes,
The next person may not choose to be tasteful.
well, it still has to be approved, and they have to get a permit to put it up.
yeah,
And, you know, the main thing, you know, I was thinking for our signage regs, if we go back to what we had for regulations before this came in, and we just make the additions of what they wanted onto that, it was much simpler and easier to read, and there was not any gray area like there is in what we've got now.
yeah, I've got a copy, I've got that, I
Yeah.
pulled that out, I've got a file started for that, to be able to look at that.
But I
Does
think
this
that
just
would,
need to be reviewed, or does he need to sign it too?
No, he doesn't need to sign it, it's just something that they're doing the all-terrain, and it's, you know, here,
it's part
and
of it.
part of it, and we can review it, and
Anybody want to see the municipal report?
I was kind of looking at it today.
I could see a crane up there.
Yeah. Well, the crane was there for a while, taking the house down. It's
Oh,
all
is that what it
gone
was
now.
doing? Because I could see it from Park Street, coming up Park Street, that the crane was up there.
Well, it just looks so funny now. I go by and that big tall house is gone.
It's sad, I think.
It's really kind of weird though, because I go out there every day. You look up to the left and it's just sky.
empty.
It's sky. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
kind of
empty.
cool.
I keep doing a double
Plus
take.
the trees are gone.
Yes,
So it's
I don't want
really,
to look at it.
yeah.
I feel at my house where I just took it down, it seems weird to see the house that was beyond it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
If anyone wants to.
does anyone want to look at this?
No, I
No, I'll
saw it
review that when I
earlier.
come in to do the
Yeah.
The charts.
chart.
okay.
Here, let me see, help a little. No, they was together.
Just take and don't fret.
Listen, I can whack with this and constantly.
I also have, just
This
so.
is thicker.
What else did we have on there? Anything else
Review
there?
all
Everything on
frame
his
permit
list.
for Tilton School.
Yep.
Okay.
Do we need these, need these back or is it?
I'll take one back. Al's got one.
I'll just give you this one back.
Okay.
Oh, for this, the,
Do you
Ask
have
her.
anything else, or can I make a motion?
I don't have anything else on mine.
I'd like to make a motion, we adjourn the meeting.
second.
All those in favor?
I,
Aye. All right.
no.
All right.
A little train. A bunch of little
All this
monkeys.
stuff turned off.
Yep.